We live in a very fast-paced time. It is heartening to see that you have taken the time out of that to help others and to acknowledge the fact that other people do need help. You've made a great difference. You've gained valuable practical experience that will stand to you as you continue your education and graduate to the workforce. The selfless act of volunteering, showing concern for others, having a sense of community is what makes the world a better place, and we will continue to foster that in the University of Limerick. Before I hand over to Vicky Phelan, I just want to finish by offering you my congratulations and to thank you for being such a wonderful role model for your fellow students and for being great ambassadors for the University of Limerick. Now, I keep referring to Vicky as Vicky Phelan. She's actually Dr. Vicky Phelan because we were honoured by her accepting an honorary doctorate from the University of Limerick last year. Since then, we've had a very close association with Vicky, and we hosted the launch of her book, Overcoming, just a short while ago, just a few weeks ago. Just days after the book was published, it went to #1 in the best-selling list, and has stayed there until this week. I understand it has fallen back to #2, but we think that's only briefly because we're expecting a big demand for it as in the run-up to Christmas. Vicky has done quite an extraordinary thing. She has, at a time of great difficulty for her in her life, at a time when she was suffering from, as I said earlier on, a very serious illness, she decided that she was going to make public information about the cervical screening program in Ireland. And she did that to benefit other people, to benefit other women who had had the screening done and in some cases were misdiagnosed and went on to have cervical cancer, and in some cases, very sadly, they have succumbed to that. Because of what Vicky has done, there has been a radical change in the way the test has been done, and I think most importantly in the way that the information is transmitted to women when the diagnosis or the screening results come out and when a diagnosis is made. Beyond cervical cancer, of course, it has had another major impact in that we're beginning to look at all our screening programs and questioning whether or not they are accurate and whether really they're serving the needs of patients. As I say, she has written a bestseller, Overcoming. It is a very frank book. I encourage you all to buy it, not because I get anything back as a royalty, but because I think it is an extraordinary book of someone who's given so much, so selfless in helping other people. Such a great example of what we expound here in university, an example of volunteerism for society, for the good of others. Vicky, or Dr. Vicky Phelan, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Des. I would first like to congratulate Joelle on the establishment of the PVA Awards in 2010 and on the university's commitment to fostering a student volunteering culture here at the university that will equip students to contribute to the civil, social and cultural life of Ireland beyond the gates of UL, and which I have no doubt provides students who are lucky enough to study here with an outstanding student experience. I almost wish I was starting out as an undergraduate again, to be honest. I'm very jealous we didn't have these when I was a student here. For the students here today who are being recognised with the President's Volunteer Award, I commend you on the commitment, time and dedication that you have given so generously of volunteering in your chosen field and I congratulate you on your well-deserved awards here today. I firmly believe that you will reap the benefits of your volunteering experience for years to come. Your participation in the PVA Awards will not only increase your job prospects and provide you with transferable skills that you can bring to the workplace, it will also, I believe, give you perspective, which, we also badly need, and more importantly, make you feel better about yourself and others. There is nothing like helping other people to help yourself and to make you feel better about doing that. I would like to thank President Fitzgerald, Gabriella Hanrahan, the PVA coordinator, and the PVA team here at the University of Limerick for inviting me here today to come and speak to you on the occasion of this wonderful ceremony, to share with you my understanding and experience of the role of volunteering in society based on my own contribution over the past 18 months. To quote President Fitzgerald on the occasion of my honorary doctorate here last year, which was one of the best days of my life, I have to say it was a fantastic day. Through my courage, commitment and exceptional communication skills, I highlighted a major issue in the Irish healthcare system. I was the whistleblower who exposed huge failings in our cervical screening programme here in Ireland. My voluntarism or social activism, as it probably is more what I do, has had a huge impact on women's healthcare in Ireland and has led to a major reform of our healthcare system. My voluntarism has led to me being seen somehow as a leader in campaigning for better outcomes for women's healthcare, but also in empowering all Irish people, women and men, to take responsibility for their own healthcare and to challenge the medical professional where necessary if they feel they are not getting the answers or that they're not being listened to. I must say that I was absolutely delighted to be invited to speak to you today because I am a very proud UL alumna and welcome the opportunity to be able to give back to UL, to the institution that has given me so much. I can remember sitting in this very concert hall when I graduated from UL in 1997, a long time ago, with the first class honours degree in European Studies, specialising in 2 languages. I can remember sitting here wide-eyed, listening to those who stood up here in the very place where I am standing. New lecterns, though, definitely. These are very fancy. We didn't have those in my day. But listening to these people thinking that would never be me. I would never have imagined that I would be standing here today as a guest speaker, an expert of sorts, someone who people would want to listen to. But I am here, and I am so proud to be here today. I feel that if someone like me, a girl from a working class background with no more ambition than to get a permanent pensionable job as an academic working in education, can become a leader and make changes happen on a national scale, it is possible for anyone to do the same. While I say that, I am very acutely aware that people, particularly women, do not see themselves as leaders. I certainly didn't. Yes, I was certainly good at my job. I was a manager of a literacy development centre at WIT, a national centre that develops professional programmes for adult educators. But a leader, no. Like many, many women, I lacked confidence. I doubted myself. I felt that I didn't know enough. I would feel intimidated by some academics at departmental meetings who appeared to know just what to say and when to say it. There were times when I didn't speak up, even though I had very valid points to make at the time. I just didn't trust my own voice. That all changed 18 months ago when I was given 6 to 12 months to live and no hope. And I found myself facing into a grueling High Court trial where I was being bullied into signing a gagging clause. I found my voice. I began to trust it, and I haven't stopped using it since, basically. You can't shut me up. And you know what? It feels good. It feels good because I believe I have become the person I was meant to become. I have finally found my role in life, and that is to improve the lives of others through advocacy. I always watched my sister. She always knew she wanted to be a hairdresser. She got one of those doll heads when she was 7, and she always knew from a very young age what she wanted to be, and I envied her because I never really knew what I wanted to do. I just loved being in college. My mother always said if I had my way, I'd stay there for the rest of my life, and I did, really. I never left. I finished studies, but then I started working here in University of Limerick, and then I worked in WIT, so I never really left. But I never really knew what it was I wanted to do until last year, even though what I'm doing now is not a paid job, but it gives me so much more fulfillment than what I was doing before. It was Mahatma Gandhi who said that the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And I really love that quote. I found myself last year during one of the most difficult periods in my life, when I would have been forgiven for focusing on my health and spending time with my family. But I didn't do that. I can't explain it except to say that I just felt compelled to help others, other women like me, who I found out through the discovery process in my court case had also been potentially misdiagnosed. Some of those women died. Helping others helped me. It gave me a sense of purpose. It stopped me from thinking too much about my own still very precarious predicament at the time. It helped me to channel the justifiable anger that I felt about being misdiagnosed and facing a death sentence. It stopped me from spiraling into depression, something I had struggled with through my adult life. By helping other women with cervical cancer who found out that they had been misdiagnosed, by sharing my experience and speaking on their behalf in interviews and at governmental committees, it has helped me. By helping to found a support group to help the 220 other women and families, this in turn helped me by providing me with a sense of belonging, with a community of people who understood what I was feeling. By helping other terminally ill cancer patients like me to access the same life-saving treatments that I had researched and found for myself, it helped me. We know from a growing body of research that volunteering has a huge impact on well-being. Many volunteers have reported an increase in their own positive mental health, physical health, and the ability to make friends. Volunteering can also lead to an increased sense of confidence, a sense of belonging in their new community, and for many, it gives them a sense of purpose. Volunteering builds empathy, something which I can absolutely say, hand on heart, is 100% true in the case of what I do. It also strengthens social bonds, and it makes you smile. I love that one, it makes you smile. I don't know how they do research on that, but there you go. At the same time, I would never have thought that I would be smiling as much as I have done in the past 18 months with a terminal illness, but I have, and it is primarily down to the feeling that I get from helping others. Just as important as the impact that my activism was having on me, however, was the impact that it has had on others and on society. My activism has encouraged others to come forward and to volunteer their time, skills, and experience to improving the lives of others. Stephen Teep lost his wife as a result of the failings of the cervical check screening programme. Stephen reached out to me when my story broke last year, and we shared our experiences. We both realised that we could not sit back and allow this awful thing to define us. We decided there and then to work together to get answers, to effect change, and to get support for those affected. It was Stephen's idea to set up the support group for the 221 women and families affected by the cervical check debacle, because of the way he was sent home with absolutely no support following a meeting with his wife's consultant at his disclosure meeting, where he was told that his wife's smear tests had been misread. Stephen, along with another patient advocate, Lorraine Walsh, also sits on a governmental committee whose aim it is to improve our national screening programme in order to ensure that this never happens again. John Wall is a terminally ill cancer patient like me, who has fought for the extension of medical cards for terminally ill patients very recently. John befriended me on Twitter and asked my advice on how to campaign for extending the timeframe for medical cards for terminally ill patients beyond the current 12-month timeframe. I convinced John that he was well able to use his experience and skills to campaign for this. I believed in him, and in turn John started to believe in himself, and inspired by my activism, he took on this challenge and has been successful. Our brand of patient advocacy is adding real, tangible value to the services on offer to the people of Ireland. My activism has led to major reform of our health service, including the introduction of a patient safety bill, mandatory open disclosure, the re-establishment of a HSE board which includes 2 patient advocates, the implementation of the 50+ recommendations from the Scally report, which, once enacted, will provide us with a cervical screening programme that women can trust, and that will undoubtedly save many lives. More recently, the establishment of a women's health task force to improve women's health outcomes and experiences of healthcare. According to Winston Churchill, we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. I believe that this quote encapsulates everything that is good about volunteering. I believe that in giving, I have achieved more in my life than I could ever have thought possible. I believe that giving has made me happier than getting, something that took me by surprise. I hope for all of you that your experience of volunteering has been a positive one for you and for the communities and lives that you have helped. I hope that your experience of volunteering has shown you that what you do can make a difference to people's lives, even if only in some small way. Every experience counts. I hope that you will continue to volunteer long after you have left UL. I wish you all health and happiness and a life of giving. Thank you.